Hello everyone and welcome back for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets and drama. So I'm back for another Roscoe's recap, and this viewing party is for All Stars 9 episode 4, and the guests this week were Roxxxy Andrews and Detox. Today we're going to be talking about Roxxxy addressing Detox's comments about her having a phone on the set of All Stars 9, why Detox almost got kicked off season 5 because of Willam, and Roxxxy says she thinks that fans need to be nicer about Nina West. All that and more coming up in today's video, so let's get started. So they started off by mentioning that Roxxxy was supposed to be at Roscoe's 2 weeks ago, but she couldn't make it. Roxxxy explained that she was flying with Delta Airlines and there was a problem with the plane and she would have been late. And she hates cancelling, so she decided to reschedule and come a few weeks later because she loves Roscoe's. Naysha then said before they get into the episode, she asked Roxxxy how she felt about non-eliminations because Roxxxy has experienced All-Stars with both eliminations and non-eliminations. Roxxxy said she was happy to have non-eliminations because as an All-Star, it's nice to come back and show everything you've got. She also said it's really sad when you've been waiting for a queen to come back on All Stars and then they get eliminated in the first episode, and then Roxxxy said, quote, Serena, and everyone laughed. This is clearly a reference to Serena ChaCha, who Roxxxy competed with on season 5, and there was a famous moment in Untucked when Roxxxy said except for Serena. And it's become a bit of a running joke now that at Roscoe's, Roxxxy always brings up Serena as a joke. Roxxxy also joked that someone online tagged her in something that said that Tasha Salad has been on more episodes than Serena ChaCha. Roxxxy then went back to the topic of non-eliminations and said that they, quote, deserve to be there and she loves the charity aspect of it. And Drag Race gives the queens a platform as well as a career, so it's nice to be able to use that platform to give back to charity. Carmel then brought up Roxxxy's entrance line from the beginning of the season, which was, quote, baby, you can't read the doll, which went viral online. Cara asked Roxxxy who can read the doll, and Roxxxy said you can't read the doll because she's not a book. Roxxxy explained that this line of "you can't read the doll" came from a video that Roxxxy did years ago where she was ranting about Miss Continental, and so when Roxxxy was thinking about what her entrance line was going to be for All Stars 9, she chose this line because she wanted people to go and find the video online and watch it. And the video is on YouTube and I'll put a link in the description. Cara then brought up episode 1 and said that Angeria cut Roxxxy with the ruby snippers, and Roxxxy said that Angeria is a, quote, smart bee. Cara agreed and said that it was the ball challenge the next episode, but unfortunately Roxxxy couldn't get a badge, but Gottmik ended up by getting, quote, vengeance for Roxxxy by cutting Angeria. Roxxxy then said, quote, I want to spill some tea, but I can't. The others said please do, but Roxxxy said that this is how they always get her at Roscoe's, but this is about production so she can't. And then Roxxxy said she can't talk about it because people will post YouTube videos and recaps about it if she does, and everyone laughed. And Roxxxy continued and said that it was smart of Angeria to cut her, and it's hard to cut someone on the first episode. And Angeria probably saw Roxxxy as a threat because she'd already been on All Stars twice. Roxxxy then said, quote, but baby, an eye for an eye. That's how I play the game. You cut me, I'm coming for you. Roxxxy also clarified that she did not tell Gottmik to cut Angeria. Gottmik made that decision on her own. And Roxxxy said, quote, we're not playing that game. They then talked briefly about the Snatch game last week, and Roxxxy mentioned an interesting fact that she had the nose that Gottmik wore as Pell, the Lassie Dog actor. Roxxxy said she kept that nose and she took it home with her, but she can't find it and she thinks she pinned it somewhere on the wall in her house, but she doesn't know where. They then moved on to talk about this week's challenge, which was that the queens had to give drag makeovers to Fireman in pairs and do a girl group challenge. Detox asked how involved the Fireman was in writing the lyrics, and Roxxxy said he was very involved and they split it, all three of them. And they asked the Fireman what he wanted his verse to be about, and they wrote the song around him and what he wanted his message to be. Naysha then asked what was the biggest challenge with Roxxxy's partner, and Roxxxy said, quote, he was a dude, and Roxxxy said he wanted to do it so bad, but he was very masculine. Roxxxy also said he was really trying and they could see that he was pushing himself to his limits, and that's all that matters. Caramel then mentioned that Roxxxy seemed to have a spare bolt of fabric with her in the episode. Roxxxy explained that they were asked to bring 3 looks for makeovers that looked alike, but they didn't say anything about what the challenge was going to be in terms of who they would be making over. And on top of that, Roxxxy brought extra fabric just in case. Nasia then asked how many suitcases she brought to All Stars 9. Roxxxy said on season 5 they were only allowed to bring 6 suitcases, and on All Stars it was 8, but they couldn't weigh any more than 50 pounds. Detox said on season 5 and All Stars 2 it was 5 suitcases. Roxxxy then said, quote, "These bees that live in LA brought 60-gallon tubs." Roxxxy then joked that when she showed up, she had the exact amount of suitcases and the weight because she's old school and she always follows the rules. Roxxxy then said that when they brought everyone's suitcases in, she had her 8 small suitcases that weighed 49.5 pounds each, but then other queens had around 20 of these 200-pound bins. And Roxxxy said, quote, "What the F, what rules did I not get?" And apparently they said to her that it is technically only supposed to be £50 per suitcase, but I assume some of them brought a lot more than that and they got away with it. But Roxxxy said that she, quote, "made it work." Apparently they did say to Roxxxy she can ship whatever she needs, but Roxxxy just said, "Give me a sewing machine and I'll make it work." Roxxxy also said that the sewing machines barely work, and on All Stars 9, she asked them to get her a serger machine from the art department, and she serged everyone's outfits for them. Roxxxy explained that a serger is a type of machine that uses multiple threads, usually around 3 or 4 at a time, to seam the fabric together and cover any raw edges. Roxxxy said that she serged all the queen's outfits during the design challenge because she can do it fast, but she also didn't want any of the other queens to mess up the machine that Roxxxy wanted to use herself later. They then talked about the makeover challenge, and Batty asked Roxxxy how much time they had to get their makeover partners and themselves in drag. Roxxxy joked that they got 23 minutes. Roxxxy then spilled some tea that on season 5, when they had to do the makeover for the gay veterans, Detox wasn't ready. And apparently Detox just said to the producers, quote, "Well, I'm not ready. What are you going to do? Edit me out? I'm not ready. I'll let you know when I'm ready." Detox had apparently only just finished painting her partner's face, but she hadn't done any of her own makeup and told them that they'd have to wait for her. Detox explained that she wasn't the only one who wasn't ready, she was just the only one who spoke up about it. Cara then asked Roxxxy if there was anyone on the crew at Drag Race that Roxxxy recognised from her first 2 seasons, and Roxxxy said that there were a few, including Sarge, who was Peppermint's makeover partner Winter Green on season 9. Detox joked that the only reason she wants to go back to All Stars is to see Sarge again. Roxxxy then said to Detox, quote, "You're going back to All Stars. I don't care what the F you say. You're going back. I don't know when. I don't know how." And the audience cheered. Batty then mentioned that Detox had said 2 weeks ago at Roscoe's that she wanted to go back to All Stars. Roxxxy then said that she had heard about that, and Detox then said what else Roxxxy had heard about, and Roxxxy said, quote, "I heard a lot." Roxxxy then said, quote, "We had our phones." And I assume Roxxxy is referring to the fact that at Roscoe's 2 weeks ago, Detox had said that Roxxxy, quote, "snuck a phone in with her on All Stars 9. And this was picked up by multiple people on social media, such as a Reddit thread, and also a YouTube video which talked about it. And then a few days later, I also talked about it in my Roscoe's recap. Detox then said she didn't even remember saying that at the viewing party because it wasn't a big deal. And Roxxxy made a joke about YouTube videos that say things like, quote, "Roxxxy reveals secrets about her phone," and this was a bit of a running joke throughout the viewing party. Roxxxy then explained that on All Stars 9, it got to the point where the queens said to the producers that the queens have their trusted circles, and the designers and the queens know that they're filming All Stars, and they know that they're not allowed to say anything, and they're all adults, so they said they can be trusted and, quote, "just give us our phones." They also said to the producers that they could trust the queens because they came back to All Stars and they know the rules, and what difference does it make if the producers hold the queens' phones for 6 to 7 weeks? They're still going to talk and live their life regardless. So apparently they did give the queens their phones on All Stars 9 and they were, quote, very nice, and it seemed to work out. And Roxxxy hopes it will work out for other future seasons of All Stars as well. There was then a VIP member question, which was about what the queens took to the set with them, such as journals. And then Batty asked the queens if they took anything from the set, because Naysha has previously said that she took a lot of stuff from set, and Naysha joked that she, quote, mopped the set. Detox said she stole a lot of stuff, including a sewing machine and some pillows on season 5. Detox said she, quote, didn't give an F, and when the producers asked her what she was doing, she told them she was stealing a sewing machine, and the producers laughed and thought Detox was joking, but Detox just walked over to her luggage bin and just put the sewing machine inside. Detox also stole one of the mannequin heads with the long necks, and she joked that she was just so mad, presumably after her elimination, and she just walked around and picked up lots of stuff to steal. Apparently Detox lived so close to the set of Drag Race she could practically see her apartment from the set, and in the first hotel they stayed in on season 5, Detox's hotel room had a balcony, but the door had been deadbolted shut, and so Detox joked that she would just look out of her hotel room window at her apartment and feel sad. Naysha then added that in the hotel rooms, the peephole on the door had tape over it so you couldn't see out of it, and the doors also had tape on them as well. Naysha also added that on All Stars 8, she and Jessica Wilde were next to each other in the hotel, and if they both opened their windows, they could lean out and talk to each other. Roxxxy then said that all the new seasons of Drag Race should definitely not have their phones, and it's like a type of initiation or hazing. Detox agreed and said that all the queens should have to go through what they went through. Naysha agreed and said that queens will find a way to use their phones if they want to, and Naysha told them that she needed her phone to pay her bills, but that was a lie. And so Naysha would ask for her phone, go on Venmo, but then in the memo section she would write a whole story such as, quote, girl, I just got eliminated, F this bleep. Naysha explained that the production assistants are supposed to be looking over your shoulder to see what you're doing on your phone, but she would just ask them a question and, quote, pretend you're interested in what's going on with them as a distraction so you can then text people when they're not looking, and everyone in the audience laughed. Roxxxy said that back on season 5 there was no Cash App or Venmo, and production would have to take the queens to the bank so they could pay their bills. Naysha mentioned that there was a season that started this trend where all the queens would go out together, and Detox said it was season 4. And apparently the queens all went to Starbucks together one day and they ran into Michelle Visage, and they would also go to the pool together. Detox then said, quote, Willam ruined it for us all. Detox also said that Willam almost got her kicked off season 5. Apparently what happened was that Willam, along with Vicky Vox, who were all part of the girl group DWV with Detox, they came to Detox's hotel room during the first week of filming season 5 because it was Detox's birthday. And they were running down the hallway of the hotel where the queens were staying, presumably looking for Detox's room. And then the next day, when the queens got to set, Detox was taken aside into the gold bar, and all of the senior people at World of Wonder were there. They asked Detox if she had anything to tell them, and Detox said she thought that they were coming to give her a birthday cake. They then said to Detox that Willam and Vicky had showed up at the hotel last night, and if Detox had anything to do with that, then Detox would need to pack her bags and go home. Detox said that she replied by saying, quote, get that F word on the phone right now, and everyone laughed. Roxxxy added that on All Stars 9, because they had their phones, the queens tried to order alcohol on DoorDash to the hotel, but the PAs would block them from getting it. They then moved on to the moment where Roxxxy and Vanjie won the challenge, and everyone clapped for Roxxxy. And after they watched the lip sync, Naysha asked what was up with the coat that Roxxxy was wearing at the beginning of the lip sync. Roxxxy explained that because the queens didn't know if they would be lip syncing each week or not, and they only had a limited number of lip sync outfits with them, they wanted to keep their outfits a secret. So Roxxxy used a leftover piece of white fabric that they got given during the design challenge in episode 2, and she made a cape that episode to hide her lip sync outfit, just in case she was not lip syncing and she wanted to wear the outfit again in a future episode. Caramel then asked Roxxxy if she thought that Nina West needed needed all of those reveals last week in the lip sync. Roxxxy said that the way it looked on TV was different than how it looked in person, and Nina only struggled with 1 or 2 of the reveals, but the rest were funny. And Roxxxy hates that they didn't show what was written on each of Nina's reveals, and Roxxxy said, quote, "I thought Nina did a great job in that lip sync." No one in the audience really said anything, and Roxxxy then said, quote, "damn," implying they were being shady, and people laughed. And Roxxxy added that she loves Nina and she's a great queen. Naysha made the point that they talked about this last week and said that some queens, such as Nina, are perhaps received differently by the fans because they only see what is shown in the edit, whereas the queens may have a different experience in person. And Naysha asked if Nina is being portrayed accurately. Roxxxy said that Nina is an amazing queen and she's been doing drag for a long time and she's raised literally millions of dollars for charity. Roxxxy then said, quote, "I think I saw what Nina had put on one of the posts. You know, we all make choices." Just in case you don't know, what I assume Roxxxy is referring to is that before All Stars 9 happened, Nina received a lot of criticism online because she had previously commented on an Instagram post by comedian Amy Schumer that was reportedly anti-Palestine. From what I can gather, Amy Schumer had posted a few things on social media that were derogatory towards Palestinians, and Amy got a lot of backlash about these posts. And Amy talked about this backlash in an interview with Variety. But Amy later deleted those posts and then posted something a bit more mild. Nina then commented on that last post and said, "We love you, Amy." And Nina was then labelled as a Zionist. And after that, in a lot of the social media posts about Nina, people in the comments were calling Nina a Zionist. And it's unclear if Nina knew about the previous more extreme posts that Amy had written, but Nina received a lot of backlash because of this. I couldn't find a lot of official information about this story, so I'm just going on what I could find on social media, but if there's anything I missed out or got wrong, please let me know. But going back to Roscoe's, and Roxxxy said she's been on the other side of this, and no matter what you do, the fans will try and be upset with you and come for you. But you just have to, quote, "live your life and know that you didn't do anything wrong if that's how you feel. And if you did, then say something on it, but I don't know, it's hard to talk on it." Roxxxy added that for Nina, as far as being a friend, a queen, and all the charity work, Nina is, quote, "sickening," and, quote, "you'll need to respect her," and then they had a round of applause for Nina. Then Roxxxy joked and said, quote, "now her runways," and everyone laughed because they had previously made some jokes about Nina's aesthetic, but Roxxxy said she was kidding. Roxxxy also said Nina looks the best this season that she's ever looked, and it shows that you never stop learning or evolving, and the audience was really silent, so Roxxxy said they were being shady. Roxxxy said that Nina should get credit for winning Snatch Game, but also there's so much crazy stuff happening in the world right now, you should just enjoy the show. They also brought up that Roxxxy got her second badge this week after Nina gifted her a badge at the beginning of the episode. Roxxxy said what they didn't show in the episode was that last week in Untucked, and also at the beginning of this week's episode, Roxxxy said to everyone that she wanted to earn her first badge, so she wasn't asking anyone to give her a badge, but she's thankful for Nina for giving her one anyway. They then watched Untucked, and there was the moment where they made balloon animals for the queens, and Roxxxy said that that segment went on for 45 minutes and she really just wanted to get out of drag. And Roxxxy joked that although the balloon guy is really sweet, she was, quote, "sitting on my D" and just wanted to get out of drag, and it was taking too long to actually make the balloons and she wanted to speed things up. Roxxxy then joked that she wanted to say, quote, "tell me what you would have made me," and everyone laughed. They then moved on, and Naysha asked Roxxxy how many of her outfits she made for All Stars 9. Roxxxy said she made all of them apart from 2, and she's not going to say which ones they were, but she paid $12,000 for them and said, quote, "I could have made them for nothing." The audience gasped a bit, and Roxxxy said it's no shade to the designers, but she was just so busy, that's why she got people to make 2 outfits for her, but she could have just made them herself. She also said that the designers tend to charge Drag Race queens more money than queens who aren't on Drag Race, or sometimes they just refuse to make outfits for Roxxxy because they know that she sews. And Naysha agreed and said that she got a quote once for $500 more by a designer than a friend for the exact same outfit who wasn't on Drag Race. Okay, so moving on to the Q&A, and an audience member said that we saw on All Stars 9 that Roxxxy has been helping people a lot during the design challenge, and this is new for her compared to season 5, implying that Roxxxy didn't really help people before. And the audience gasped a bit, and Roxxxy joked and started taking off her earrings as if she was going to fight. Detox then put her hand up and said that this is completely false, and that just because you don't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen. Detox went on to say that the reason they didn't show Roxxxy helping people on season 5 was intentional. The audience member then mentioned Roxxxy and Jinx on season 5 and how they showed Roxxxy not being helpful to Jinx, but Roxxxy asked what the actual question was. The audience member said that they forgot the question because Roxxxy was reading them, but then they said what they meant was, does Roxxxy think that they're now showing who Roxxxy actually is on this season? Roxxxy said she's a very helpful person and she will always help people like she did during this season in the design challenge. Roxxxy then said, in terms of season 5 with Jinx, Roxxxy was stressed as it was her first time on Drag Race and she wasn't really in the space to help anyone. But Roxxxy said she understands what the audience member was trying to ask and that the edit is now showing Roxxxy in a more accurate light. And finally, Detox said that she is Roxxxy's quote biggest cheerleader and they've been friends for 20 years, and Detox is so happy that people are finally getting to see that Roxxxy is kind and funny and smart, and she's being celebrated this season, and everyone cheered for Roxxxy. So there you go, there was the Roscoe's recap for All Stars 9 episode 4. What did you think of the makeover challenge this week? And who do you think is going to win All Stars 9? Let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to get early access to my videos as well as have your comments featured in my Have Your Say videos, please check out my Patreon and consider supporting me. It goes such a long way to helping support my channel and I really appreciate it. And I'll put a link to my Patreon in the description. I'd also like to say a massive thank you to all of my Patreon members who are amazing and support me every month. Thank you so much for being part of my Patreon. I really appreciate it and I really do love my Patreon community. You are all legends. If you liked this video, please remember to like and comment on the video to help tell the algorithm that this is a great video, and make sure you hit the subscribe button because it really does make such a big difference to my channel. Thank you for watching and I hope you'll join me again in future videos. Thank you, bye!